Welcome into another edition of Mavs Latest. I'm Josyah Howard, and Summer League is wrapping up, obviously. Cooper Flag only played a couple games. LeBron James has obviously been in the news with the Mavericks, and somebody who may be back on the table after being traded to a one team, all that and more on this episode of Mavs Latest. Obviously, subscribe down below for more, leave comments down below as well. But I want to get this one started with a article written by Andy Bailey of Bleacher Report, and he lists Cooper Flag as one of the winners of the Summer League Showcase, and he highlights that Flag should be content with his performance in Summer League and says anyone can have a bad shooting performance on any night, and Flag certainly had one against the Lakers, but his shot selection was fine and impacted the game plenty in plenty of other ways. Perhaps most importantly, looked comfortable bringing the ball up the floor despite several Lakers, including NBA veteran Darius Bazley, clearly trying to rough him up a bit. Just in one game, he proved capable of helping his team win with a wide range skill set. That helped him fit into a veteran-laden regular season roster. But he wasn't done there. He obviously bounced back in that game too, finishing with a total of 31 points. Obviously, 10 of 21 from the field, and that to me was like the big key with Cooper Flag, and why I do think that's why they shut him down in the first place, because I think they gave him a chance to have the jitters, be nervous in game one, and then have the bounce back and show he does have the resiliency that they're looking for, and not being discouraged when you do play bad, and not just putting your head down and pouting, and you could be the the stereotypical Gen Z per se, and just quit and whatever the case may be, but for him, he is put in the work, and he is the old school mentality of no matter how many times I'm thrown to the ground, I'm gonna bounce back up and keep trying to be better. And I think he had the right approach in summer league. It was obvious they clearly had the message of try to be the focal point of the offense while trying to still get to your offense and still try to be within your natural self, and don't try it. They almost asked him to balance playing a whole different way and still playing the way you always play. And to be given that assignment in your first summer league go, I thought he played fine. And for Bleacher Report and for them to put him as a big winner of summer league, I think that's obvious. But it had to be done, and I'm happy they did. Because it could have been easy to say he had a bad game and then had a pretty solid game, but didn't show anything other than a couple games. Um, but I think we all know he showed exactly what he needed to see, nothing more and nothing less. But obviously, LeBron James has been in the news and attached to the Dallas Mavericks, and I don't want to necessarily get attached to trades necessarily, because he could get traded, and I want to at least go over this one trade proposal that if if you're the Mavericks, if you're interested in not only that boosting your short-term window but also opening your cap space in the long term, I think this possible trade that's proposed could work, but I'll get to it in a second. And I preface to say I don't necessarily think he's getting traded to be a Maverick, but I'm not necessarily saying him as a Maverick is unrealistic or not a possibility. I do think it's a possibility. Trade deadline? Maybe. But I do think most likely LeBron James becomes an outright free agent, and then he might sign with the Mavericks. But if this trade proposed by CBS Sports were to come about, this wouldn't be the worst thing in the world in terms of, again, the Mavericks' long term books in terms of their money and their short term window. I'm trying to win. So it would be Mavericks receive LeBron James and Bronny James. Lakers get Klay Thompson, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Max Christie, and their own first round pick back from Dallas. And then the Nets would get Caleb Martin and Dalton Connect. If I'm the Nets, to get into this deal and snag Dalton Connect would be pretty nice if I'm Brooklyn. But if I'm the Mavericks here, I view this as if I get LeBron for even 2 seasons after this trade, you get off of Clay's money, you get off of Daniel Gafford's money that you just signed long term. PJ Washington's an expiring contract, and you give Max Christie back to LA. If you make LeBron James's contract a 1+1 like he's been doing, then you're set up really to not only have LeBron James on your team. Obviously he was sixth in MVP voting this past season, still a great player, still a top 10 NBA player. We don't know what type of wall he'll hit, but he's shown that if he were to hit one, it'd probably be more steady than immediate. So yeah, I don't even hate this trade for everyone around. If the Lakers are ready to move off of LeBron, if the Mavericks are cool with, I don't even think you're getting rid of your entire core to bring in LeBron here with this trade. It's some pieces, but you have enough depth in your front court to be able to handle losing some of these pieces to bring in someone like a LeBron. You could get rid of Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, and Clay. I mean, Clay would hurt a little bit, but really the collective does not bring what LeBron brings to your team, not only on the court but off the court for the Dallas Mavericks. So if the trade happened like this, I'm in, and I just don't think LeBron is really actively really looking for that trade right now. I do think he's probably more focused on starting the season with the Lakers, seeing where things go, and then we'll really see where things go from there. But another name that we've talked about in the past, but I want to bring up now because we saw Damian Lillard. He's back with the Portland Trailblazers, and that leaves Drew Holiday, who got traded there by the Boston Celtics, and they got sent Anthony Simons in return. Now, Drew Holiday is rumored to not want to be in Portland. Maybe Damian being there for next season, technically not this coming season, but the following season he'll be healthy. Maybe that helps Drew want to stay there for a year, but I just don't see it. I do think that opens the way for Drew Holiday to now be available, especially with Dame coming back. They have still a lot of guards on that team, and now is Dallas an option for Drew? Possibly, but now you really have to start saying, all right, what pieces you gonna move? That's where I see a PJ Washington coming in. Possibly that Daniel Gafford contract coming in terms of being a movable deal. I don't see Trailblazers wanting Daniel Gafford. I think they have enough size on their team in terms of bigs, but they could use a wing. I think PJ Washington and maybe a pick, maybe Max Christie. Uh, I do think they could probably get a better deal for Drew Holiday than that, but I don't think if you're the Mavericks, you don't want to give up too much for Drew Holiday. He does eat some cap space if you are bringing him in. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think that Damian Lillard coming back to Portland definitely makes Drew Holiday's availability a lot more interesting, and I do see Dallas as a possible landing spot for him, but I think it will have to make a lot of sense for Dallas. I don't think they're just going to forcibly make that move just because he's a veteran who's won a championship and they're in a championship window. I don't think that's the smart move, and I don't think that is the move that the Dallas Mavericks would make But to wrap things up here on Mavs latest with some Mavs chatter, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, and obviously he is a Dallas Mavericks super fan. He took part in an interview with For the Win, and he kind of reflected again on just the time it took for him to process the Lakers trade with Luka. But now he is happy with the fact that he is still with the organization, still finds it a great organization, still a fan of the team, and he said it was exciting once the team won the lottery, a roller coaster of emotions. Now bringing in Cooper Flag, it's now going to be an amazing team. Everybody get back healthy, and we'll have a good chance as everybody to make a run at a title next year. Um, I do think if Kyrie was available to start the year, they'd be in real serious talks to be a top 6 to 7 team in the West. I think people are a little bit hitting the pause button on their team just because you never know with Anthony Davis's health, Kyrie's coming back, Cooper Flag's a rookie, all of that mixed in the pot. So I do agree with Mahomes that, once the team is healthy, they can get some continuity with everybody. They definitely can compete with anybody, but I just don't know when that time is going to be because obviously you have Derek Lively recovering from an injury, you have Kyrie Irving recovering from an injury, you have Anthony Davis recovering from an injury, and Cooper Flag's a rookie, so a lot of moving parts here with the Mavericks. No rush really, but I think this season can be interesting, and if all the pieces can get back in time. But this has been Mavs latest. Again, I'm Josyah Howard. Please subscribe down below. Please comment down below on anything I discussed today. And let's get it, y'all.